Greetings, are Frederick Riddle, and this is another episode of Christian News and Views, episode 2637. And today is Wednesday, and we're looking at the State of the Union. Last night, I sat here and watched the State of the Union speech, and I'm not going to sit here and dissect it. We've got plenty of people on both sides of the aisle uh, that will provide that service if you need it. Instead, I'm going to focus on my opinion. So just understand it. This is my opinion. As I listened to the president, I watched the opposition, the Democrats. Their hatred for the president was so strong that even when President Trump produced moments in which all Americans could celebrate, they refused to do so. When he shared the trials and triumphs of men and women and gave them a moment in the sun, the Democrats remained in their seats. They would not join in applauding these heroes and heroines, though such honor was deserved. Today, as the false, I call them false fact checkers, they're using numbers, and that's what they always do. They use numbers, and they'll quote this, they'll quote that, but they are very selective in how they do this. And I have argued in the past, if you follow the money trail, now it's true, they get money from both sides, but the one who gives them the most money is usually the one that way it goes. They make use of numbers. It's wise. When you're hearing somebody using numbers, just remember this. While numbers in themselves don't lie, liars use numbers all the time. Numbers don't tell the real story. Here's something to think about. Revisit the ending of the Biden era and the beginning of the Trump era. How did you feel? In my case, for one thing, I was relieved. And in my opinion, the Biden era was an era of tragedy, really, failure. It was a time in which our country, which had started recovering before he took office, slid during his time. Now they all use numbers, but some of the things you got to understand is some of those numbers that he experienced we experienced under Biden were actually a result of what Trump did prior to Biden coming into office. Biden himself didn't do a whole lot, and what he did do, like the open borders policy, that was horrendous, and the transformation in the very first year. And what we got to remember, we're talking about the first year of this second term of Trump, and in this first year, the focus, the feeling that you have is that so much has been done, so much has been accomplished. When you look back at the Biden, these fact checkers will bring this up and that up, but if you actually dive into them, they were either not quite as meaningful as these fact checkers want you to believe, or the there are other extenuating circumstances. I'm not a fan of fact checkers. They are biased. There is no such thing as a person who is unbiased. You're biased. I'm biased. We're all biased. Our bias impacts how we interpret facts, how we interpret the world around us. And so that is something that we need to, probably need to work on it for one thing. But you got to remember it too when trying to analyze numbers and all that. I do remember, like I said, I was relieved. Biden's 4 years had so colored the world that the future looked dark. As for numbers, I think I showed you in my last episode that the inflation rate was better at the end of the year, Trump's first year, than at the beginning when he took over from Biden. I also spoke on deportations. It was claimed by a writer that Biden deported more than Trump. And I wasn't surprised by that. I didn't even bother to check those numbers out because I knew something that writer apparently either didn't know or chose not to know. And that was that within the first few months of Trump being in office, the border was closed. And under Biden, millions were coming in. So you simply had that. Trump, when he deported those who were already here. Biden, he could do that, but he also had millions coming in that he could turn around and deport. And so those numbers, in effect, by themselves, as they're quoted, mean nothing. The fact is that Trump closed the border. That's the big story, not how many were deported. Trump closed the border without new laws, without new strategies. He simply went and enforced the laws that were on the books. And he did so in a manner that just shut it down almost immediately. The media also has taken aim at his claim to have prevented wars. You know, you're getting into the weeds when you get into this because the fact of the matter is there's all sorts of aspects that go into a war even getting started. Some wars will start immediately, like you throw a match on dry brush and it will just burst into flame. Other times, you throw that match into an area and it may go out. You throw another match and it may go out. And you have to throw several matches before it actually catches on fire. And even then, it may be a slow, like a sizzle, and then slowly build up and expand. And then suddenly one day it erupts into a fire. Well, wars is the same way. And so, again, they're quibbling over numbers, they're quibbling over the degree of his influence. Yet, just sitting here and reading the news on a daily basis, the world recognized his influence. However great or however small you might think it is, the world recognized it. And that's a simple fact. The fact is, he used the office of the presidency to push countries to solve their differences peacefully. And sometimes that was accomplished rather quickly and easily. Other times he had to get more aggressive. It doesn't matter how he did it so much as the fact that he did it. And whether he was 8 wars, 7 wars, 22 wars, or whatever the number of wars was, he is a president that wants to have peace in the world. And he's doing his very best to achieve that. They don't want to give him that honor, so they quibble. To me, that is the presidency at work. Now, while the media is in cahoots with the Democrats to try to convince you that you have pulled your support from Trump, I believe that while you may have real concerns about some of the things happening, you are still firmly in support of this administration. He is doing what we elected him to do. So, to me, last night was a well-earned victory lap. What do you think? And so that's my closing thought on that is what do you think? In the end, that's what where it all comes down to is what you, the voter, the potential voter, thinks. Have there been bumps in the road? Of course there have. Has there been a learning curve? Well, actually, President Trump's first term was his learning curve. This has been a year, 1 year. Again, I got to remind you, this is just, it sounds, well, you think of all the things that he did. You tend to think of it, this is more like a 4 year speech than a 1 year speech. But he accomplished a lot. And some of it, yes, has been rough. But I think most of us, when we went and pulled the lever for President Trump, we did so knowing that there might be some bumps. We didn't know what they were. We didn't know when they would become or anything of that nature. I'm particularly, as far as I'm concerned, I'm very pleased that he did what he did in his very first year, because now he's laid the groundwork where he can start really building upon that. And so, will he still have control of Congress after the midterms? I think he will. I'm not a prognosticator like these others, and so but I kind of, I follow a man who goes really investigates these things, and he focuses on those polls which actually poll real people, living people, people who tend to vote. They're not only legal to vote, but they actually vote. And when you narrow that list down, there's only like maybe one or two that actually stand out. And those polls quite often differ from all these other polls that the networks like to quote. And so I don't get, yes, there's probably been some loss of voter strength. That's kind of normal, especially as you approach midterms. But I still think it's pretty high. And he still has time. If there is anything of a nature of a slack in his voting strength as numbers, uh, he's now in a position, I think, in a position of strength that he can take what he has accomplished and build upon that. And as time goes by, you and I are going to feel the effects of these more than we do right now. But I noticed one thing, and I mentioned this in, I believe, in yesterday's episode: gas prices. Now, they vary all over the country. So, but here where I live, Port Charlotte, Florida, uh, I've seen under Biden, the prices were up to around 350 or higher. I don't remember the numbers now, but they were high, and they were tending to go high. Prices go like a range. They'll go high and go back, drop back down low, and then they go high. And what you want to watch is the trend line, and the trend line was going like this, going up. But when Trump took over, here's what happened with that trend line that I saw: going down. The pressure is pushing down. And so, and it's sliding, it's going up and down all the time. That's the nature of the business, I guess. But it's fluctuating all the time. But it's been fluctuating this way, going down. And now I've seen prices as low as, I think I saw the other day, I found it was 273 or something like that. And other parts of the country might even be lower, others are higher. So it depends upon where you live as to what that price level is. But if you actually track what it was at the beginning of his presidency and what it is now, I think that will be across the country, and you will see there's been a downward trend. Not as fast as we would like it, certainly not as fast as he would like it, but it is getting down there. I've heard of some people, in fact, I've heard of some, I don't remember what state it was, but I heard that was less than $1 a gallon somewhere. Oh wow, I would love that. That's going back a long time in my life to when it was that low. I don't know if I'll get that low nationwide or not, but that would be great. But I'm liking what it is now. I'm in my business. I travel a lot. I do a lot of driving, and so prices make a difference to me. So I hope this has been encouraging to you, informative and encouraging, and perhaps even inspirational to you. And remember that this is always brought to you free of charge. You don't pay a thing. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can. I encourage you to, if you want to sign up to the YouTube TR Independent Books. And we are TR Independent Books is a Christian indie publisher. It publishes books for fiction and nonfiction, and Christian Christian worldview rather. And we also teach you how to write. We will do that. We have a service for that. We also have a service to help you if you are you know how to write and you want to get your book out there, get it published and everything. We, in either case, we will help you help you edit it, help you in all aspects of it, and publish your work. We're interested in having you as clients. So you have a great day. I hope you have a fantastic day as far as that goes. And I'll see you in the next episode.